Breaking news across the galactic communication network, the Bloodhound of Kepler-9 had struck again. The holographic news anchor, a crystalline being from Arcturus Prime, practically vibrated with panic as she delivered the report. 3 more settlements on the outer rim have gone completely dark. The Zephyrian High Command has officially declared a Code Omega evacuation of the entire Kepler-9 system. Cut to shaky footage from a fleeing transport ship. Through the static, viewers could make out massive claw marks gouged into the hull of what used to be a military dreadnought. The scratches were deep enough to park a shuttle in. "By the 7 moons," wheezed Ambassador Glorbnik of the Mollusk Confederacy, his eye stalks trembling as he testified before the emergency session of the Galactic Council. "It came out of nowhere. One moment our mining colony was processing dilithium crystals, the next moment there was just silence. And those sounds." The hologram flickered to archived footage of other attacks. Entire space stations, their metal hulls twisted like paper, defense fleets scattered like leaves in a hurricane, the most advanced civilizations in 3 galaxy arms, all running from the same thing. Commander Vex of the Tau Ceti Defense Force had lost 17 ships trying to contain the creature. His mandibles clicked nervously as he described the encounter. "Our plasma cannons barely singed its hide. Photon torpedoes bounced off like raindrops. When it roared, the sound shattered our communication arrays through 3 layers of hull plating. The beast had first appeared 6 months ago near the Kepler-9 research station. At first, the scientists thought it was just another large predator, maybe evolved from the local fauna. They were wrong. Dead wrong. And just plain dead." Dr. Tinteclius from the Cephalopod Science Institute had been studying the attack patterns. "It exhibits intelligence far beyond any predator we've catalogued. It learns our defensive strategies, adapts to our weapons, and seems to take genuine pleasure in the hunt. We've never encountered anything like it." The creature stood nearly 50 meters tall, with 6 legs ending in claws that could shred battleship armor. Its hide was supposedly impervious to energy weapons, and its roar could be heard across vacuum through some unknown mechanism that defied physics. Witnesses described glowing red eyes the size of shuttlecraft, and a mouth full of teeth like crystal spears. But here was the really terrifying part. It was getting smarter. Each attack showed more tactical awareness, more sophisticated hunting patterns. The Bloodhound was learning how each species fought, how they thought, how they feared. "It's not just killing," Ambassador Glorbnik had whispered during his testimony. "It's studying us, playing with us, like we're some kind of entertainment." The Galactic Council had tried everything. The Andromedan Warfleet, famous for conquering half the known galaxy, had retreated after losing their flagship. The Psionic Brotherhood, capable of mind-controlling entire solar systems, couldn't even get close enough to attempt contact. Even the Mechanoid Collective, beings of pure logic who claimed fear was an obsolete emotion, had voted to quarantine the entire sector. 27 species had officially classified the Bloodhound as an extinction-level threat. The creature was spreading, moving from system to system, leaving behind nothing but wreckage and very traumatized survivors who all said the same thing. Nothing could stop it, nothing could kill it, nothing could even slow it down. The monster was unstoppable, unkillable, and absolutely terrifying. Which was exactly when someone at Galactic Command made a very interesting discovery about Earth's application to join the Galactic Council, specifically the part where humans listed their primary profession as pest control. Riley Murphy was having a perfectly normal Tuesday morning, which for her meant dealing with a 3-meter cockroach infestation in the sewers beneath New Chicago. She was elbow-deep in industrial-strength bug spray when her communicator started buzzing with an incoming priority transmission from something called Galactic Command. "Yeah, Murphy here," she answered, not bothering to look up from the tunnel where she was setting adhesive traps. "If this is about that giant spider thing in Tokyo, I already told him I don't do arachnids over 2 meters. Union rules." The hologram that flickered to life showed a very nervous-looking reptilian creature in what appeared to be a military uniform. "Commander Murphy, I am General Slitarn of the Galactic Defense Initiative. We have a situation that requires your unique expertise." Riley finally glanced up, raising an eyebrow at the talking lizard man floating in blue light above her wrist. "Let me guess. Rat problem? Termites? Please tell me it's not space wasps. I hate space wasps." "Actually, it's a creature we call the Bloodhound of Kepler-9. It has decimated multiple civilizations and—" "Hold up there, General Gecko," Riley interrupted, pulling off her rubber gloves. "Did you just say multiple civilizations? As in entire planets full of people?" General Slitharn's scales seemed to pale slightly. Yes, Commander. 27 species have been forced to evacuate their home systems. Our most advanced military forces have proven ineffective. The creature is unlike anything we've ever encountered. Riley stood up, brushing cockroach guts off her coveralls. And you're calling Earth's Department of Pest Control because, the general said with the tone of someone who'd clearly lost an argument with his superiors. Your species' application to join the Galactic Council listed comprehensive pest management as your primary planetary expertise. Our xenobiologists theorized that perhaps a species that specializes in extermination might have unconventional approaches to the problem. There was a long pause as Riley stared at the hologram. Then she started laughing. Not a polite chuckle, but a full-blown belly laugh that echoed through the sewer tunnel. Oh, that's rich. You've got space fleets and laser cannons and mind powers, but you're calling the bug lady because you can't handle one overgrown animal? She wiped a tear from her eye. What's next, asking plumbers to fix your warp drives? General Slitharn's tongue flicked out nervously. Commander, I assure you this is no ordinary creature. It has destroyed battle stations, eliminated entire armies, and shown tactical intelligence that— Yeah, I get it. Big, scary, smart monster, Riley said, already walking toward her van. Tell you what, General, send me the coordinates and the job specs. But I'm charging hazard pay, and if this thing is bigger than a blue whale, I'm definitely billing overtime. You're accepting the assignment? The general sounded genuinely shocked. Riley tossed her equipment into the back of her pest control van, which was painted with cheerful cartoon bugs getting zapped by cartoon lightning bolts. Look, pal, I've dealt with mutant rats the size of buses, cockroaches that could pick locks, and once spent 3 days hunting a colony of intelligent termites that had learned to use power tools. How different can one oversized space puppy be? As she climbed into the driver's seat, General Slitharn's expression suggested he was beginning to question the wisdom of this entire operation. Commander, perhaps you don't fully understand the scope of— Nope, Riley said, starting the engine. But I understand pest control. And unless your bloodhound can file taxes and complain about the weather, it's still just another animal that needs relocating. Send me those coordinates. The hologram flickered off, leaving Riley alone with her thoughts and the faint smell of industrial bug spray. She glanced at her reflection in the rear-view mirror and grinned. Space monster, huh? This should be interesting. The Galactic Council's emergency meeting chamber was designed to inspire awe and diplomatic respect. Towering crystalline spires reached toward a dome that displayed the swirling majesty of 3 different nebulae. Representatives from dozens of species sat in gravity-defying chairs that adjusted to their unique physiologies. Riley Murphy walked in wearing steel-toed boots, cargo pants, and a t-shirt that read, "If it's bugging you, I'll kill it," with a cartoon cockroach giving a thumbs down. The assembled dignitaries stared at her with a mixture of confusion and barely concealed horror. So, Riley said, plopping down in a chair that immediately began scanning her biology and adjusting itself with confused mechanical whirring sounds. Which one of you is going to tell me about this space dog that's got everyone's tentacles in a twist? High Counselor Blorbius, a floating jellyfish-like being with bioluminescent patches, pulsed nervously. Commander Murphy, we appreciate your directness, but please understand the Bloodhound represents an existential threat to all sentient life in this sector. Riley pulled out a tablet and stylus. How big are we talking? House cat? Great Dane? Elephant? 50 meters tall, whispered Ambassador Quelnick, a bird-like creature whose feathers were literally standing on end, with claws that can slice through quantum-reinforced steel like it's paper. Riley made a note. Okay, so bigger than my usual gig, what's it eat? The council members exchanged glances. Everything, said Representative Zorbak, his rocky exterior grinding with anxiety. It consumes organic matter, energy sources, even processed metals. Nothing is safe. Right, omnivore, got it. Another note. And it's smart, you said? High Counselor Blorbius's glow intensified. Commander, it learned our military tactics in mere hours. It anticipated our trap formations, countered our flanking maneuvers, and somehow predicted our retreat routes. This creature exhibits strategic thinking that rivals our greatest military minds. Riley looked up from her tablet. So it's a quick learner. Anything else? Anything else? Ambassador Quelnick's voice rose to a screech. Commander, it roars with such force that the sound waves can shatter starship hulls. Its hide deflects our most powerful energy weapons. It can track prey across multiple star systems. Loud, tough, and good at following scents, Riley translated, writing busily. This is all pretty standard Predator stuff, folks. What makes it so special that entire civilizations are running away? The silence that followed was so complete that the chamber's environmental systems became audible. Finally, Representative Zorbek spoke in a voice like grinding stone. "Commander, with respect, you appear to be treating this as if it were a common pest problem." "Because it is," Riley said matter-of-factly. "Look, I get that it's big and scary, and probably has really bad breath. But at the end of the day, it's just an animal. Animals have patterns. They have needs. They have weaknesses." She gestured at the assembled council. "You're all thinking like prey instead of like exterminators." High Counselor Blorbius pulsed frantically. "But our greatest warriors, our most advanced weapons—" "Let me stop you right there," Riley interrupted. "Your greatest warriors are trained to fight other warriors, right? People who think like people, use tools like people, react like people. This thing isn't people. It's an animal. Different rulebook entirely." Ambassador Quelnick's feathers rustled. "You speak as if you've encountered creatures like this before." Riley grinned. "Buddy, last month I dealt with a colony of super-intelligent rats that had figured out how to hack elevator systems. The month before that, it was genetically modified wasps that could communicate through interpretive dance. Trust me, really big and really mean is actually a step down from small, sneaky, and plotting." "But the Bloodhound destroyed the entire Andromedan war fleet," Representative Zorbak protested. "And I bet they came at it with battleships and laser cannons and a lot of dramatic speeches about honor, right?" Riley asked. When several council members nodded, she shook her head. "Yeah, that's your problem right there. You brought a war to a pest control situation." She stood up, tucking her tablet into her cargo pocket. "All right, people, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to Kepler-9. I'm going to track down your overgrown space mutt, and I'm going to deal with it. Then I'm going to send you a bill that'll probably make your accountants cry." As she walked toward the exit, High Counselor Blorbus called after her. "Commander, what if you're wrong? What if the Bloodhound truly is unstoppable?" Riley paused at the doorway and looked back with a smirk. "Then I guess you'll need to find a new pest control service. But don't worry, I've got a really good success rate." The transport ship that dropped Riley off at Kepler-9 couldn't get away fast enough. The pilot, a nervous centaurian with way too many eyes, practically threw her gear out the airlock before jumping to hyperspace without so much as a good luck. Riley watched the ship disappear into the star field and turned to survey her new workplace. Kepler-9 was actually pretty nice as far as planets went. Temperate climate, breathable atmosphere, decent gravity. It reminded her of Montana, if Montana had purple grass and 2 moons. She set up her base camp in the ruins of what used to be the research station. The place looked like it had been hit by a tornado made of chainsaws. Deep gouges in the metal walls, blast doors torn off their hinges, and scorch marks from energy weapons that had clearly done absolutely nothing. "Classic fear response," Riley muttered, examining the damage. "Lots of panicked shooting, not much thinking." She unpacked her equipment methodically. No plasma cannons or photon torpedoes. Just the tools of her trade. Motion sensors, scent trackers, trail cameras, some basic camping gear, and her grandfather's old hunting rifle. The weapon looked positively primitive compared to the melted remains of alien superweapons scattered around the station. The first thing she did was check the digital logs. The scientists had kept meticulous records right up until the end, bless their nerdy little hearts. Day 1. Large predator sighted near the mining operation. Approximately 50 meters tall, bipedal locomotion appears to be scanning the area systematically. Day 3. Creature has learned to avoid our sensor arrays. It's demonstrating problem-solving abilities far beyond expected parameters. Day 7. All communication with Mining Station Beta has ceased. Rescue teams report massive structural damage consistent with large claw attacks. Riley scrolled through weeks of increasingly panicked entries. The scientists had tried everything: tranquilizer darts, energy bearers, sonic deterrents. Nothing had worked because they were thinking like scientists instead of like hunters. She grabbed her pack and headed out to examine the most recent attack site. The trail was 3 days old, but still easy enough to follow if you knew what to look for. Broken vegetation, disturbed soil, and, most tellingly, a scent that made her nose wrinkle. Sulfur and ozone, she noted, taking samples. Definitely not native to this ecosystem. The trail led through a forest of those purple trees, toward what the maps indicated was a series of natural caves. About halfway there, Riley encountered her first group of survivors. They were Catharians. Tall, blue-skinned humanoids with excellent hearing and a tendency toward dramatic overstatement. They'd set up a refugee camp in a clearing, surrounded by enough defensive equipment to outfit a small army. "Human," their leader called out as Riley approached. "You must flee." The beast of nightmare stalks these lands. Your primitive weapons cannot hope to— He stopped mid-sentence as he got a better look at her gear. Is that camping equipment? Yep, Riley said cheerfully. Trail mix? Captain Vorthak of the Kytharian Defense Corps stared at her like she'd just offered him a live grenade. You came to hunt the unstoppable terror of the void with snacks? And a really good sleeping bag, Riley added. You'd be amazed how many hunts fail because someone didn't pack properly. So this thing, does it hunt during the day or at night? The captain's forearms gestured wildly. Both, always. It never rests, never stops, never shows mercy. Uh-huh. But when did you actually see it? What time of day? The Catharians looked at each other. Well, mostly at dawn, one of them admitted. And dusk. It seems to prefer the transition periods. Crepuscular hunting pattern, Riley nodded, making another note. That's useful. What about territory size? Does it stick to one area or does it roam? It's everywhere, Captain Vorthak wailed. One moment it's attacking the northern settlements, the next it appears in the southern valleys. It defies all logic. Riley pulled out a local map and spread it on a convenient rock. Show me where you've seen it. All the sightings, all the attacks. Reluctantly, the Catharians began pointing out locations. As the pattern emerged, Riley started connecting dots with her stylus. There, she said after a few minutes. It's not everywhere. Look at the pattern. It's following the underground river system, probably using the caves for shelter during midday heat. The refugees stared at the map like she'd just performed magic. But how did you see that? One of them whispered. Because I'm not scared of it, Riley said simply. Fear makes you stupid. It makes you see chaos, where there's actually a pretty straightforward behavior pattern. She shouldered her pack. Thanks for the intel, folks. Might want to move your camp about 5 clicks north. You're sitting right on what looks like a major travel route. As she walked away, she could hear them frantically packing up their equipment. The trail led deeper into the cave system, and Riley switched on her headlamp. The walls were scored with claw marks, some old, some fresh. She followed them like breadcrumbs, noting the spacing, the depth, the angle of attack. Left hand, she muttered. Interesting. The deeper she went, the stronger that sulfur and ozone smell became. Mixed with it now was something else, something organic and distinctly familiar. Riley paused at a junction in the cave system and pulled out her scent tracker. The device beeped softly, analyzing the air composition. Well, I'll be damned, she said, reading the results. No wonder everyone's so scared of this thing. She was getting close now. The claw marks were fresh, the scent was strong, and somewhere up ahead, she could hear the sound of something very large moving around in the darkness. Riley checked her rifle, adjusted her headlamp, and started walking toward the sound with the confident stride of someone who'd just figured out exactly what she was dealing with. Here, boy, she called softly into the darkness. Come to Mama. The growl that echoed through the cave system would have sent most people running for their lives. It was deep, resonant, and carried the kind of primal menace that spoke to every survival instinct hardwired into sentient DNA. The sound reverberated off the walls with enough force to shake loose stones from the ceiling. Riley's response was to dig around in her backpack for a dog whistle. Yeah, very scary, she called out as the growling got closer. I bet that works great on all the tourists. But I've heard that exact same sound coming from Mrs. Henderson's backyard every morning at 6 a.m. The Bloodhound of Kepler-9 rounded the corner like something out of a nightmare. 50 meters of rippling muscle and razor-sharp claws, glowing red eyes the size of dinner plates, and teeth that could have been used to clear-cut a forest. Its hide was mottled black and gray, scarred from a dozen battles with alien military forces, and it moved with the fluid grace of a perfect predator. It was also wagging its tail. There's my boy, Riley said with the tone of someone who'd just found their missing pet. Look at you, all big and scary and covered in spaceship parts. Did you miss Mommy? The Bloodhound, which was indeed just a dog, albeit one that had been exposed to way too much cosmic radiation and alien growth hormones, bounded toward her with the enthusiasm of a golden retriever seeing its owner after a long vacation. Its massive paws shook the entire cave system as it skidded to a stop just short of accidentally crushing her. Riley reached up to scratch behind ears that were roughly the size of satellite dishes. Good boy, Max. Though I have to say, your table manners have gotten absolutely terrible. What did I tell you about playing with your food? The dog, because that's exactly what the terror of the galaxy was, whimpered and looked down with an expression that somehow managed to be sheepish despite belonging to a creature that had sent 27 civilizations fleeing in panic. Don't give me those puppy dog eyes, Riley said sternly. Do you have any idea how much paperwork I'm going to have to fill out because of you, and the insurance claims? Do you know what alien starship hull costs per square meter? Max's tail stopped wagging. His ears drooped. That's right, mister. You're in big trouble. Riley pulled out her tablet and started scrolling through her notes. Let's see. Destruction of property, disturbing the peace, terrorizing multiple species, unauthorized consumption of military hardware. She looked up at the dog. Max, did you eat an entire Andromedan dreadnought? The whimper that followed would have been adorable if it hadn't come from something that could bench press a small moon. The whole thing? Really? Even the reactor core? When Max's expression somehow got even more guilty, Riley shook her head. No wonder you've been glowing. And the sulfur smell. That's from the Zephyrus plasma cannons, isn't it? I told you those things would give you indigestion. She walked around the massive animal, conducting what was essentially a veterinary examination. Let's see. No major injuries, good muscle tone, eyes are bright and alert, though you've definitely put on weight. How much alien technology have you been snacking on? Max made a sound that was part whine, part rumbles, and somehow managed to convey both guilt and the faint hope that maybe he wasn't in as much trouble as he thought. Oh, you're definitely in trouble, Riley said, reading his expression with the practiced ease of someone who'd been dealing with oversized problem animals her entire career. But first, we need to get you home and detoxed. The cosmic radiation exposure alone is going to take months to flush out of your system. She pulled out her communicator and dialed a familiar number. Hey, Pete? Yeah, it's Riley. I found him. Aha! He's fine, just really, really big and glowy. What? No, I'm not exaggerating this time. He's actually 50 meters tall now. The aliens weren't making that part up. There was a pause as she listened to the voice on the other end. Yeah, I know we said the interdimensional portal was only for emergencies, but Pete, he ate 3 space fleets. I think this qualifies. Another pause. No, he's not aggressive, he's just enthusiastic. And apparently really likes the taste of quantum-reinforced steel. Riley looked up at Max, who was watching her with the focused attention of a dog who knew the word walkies was about to be mentioned. Don't worry, boy, we're going home, but first, you're going to help me clean up this mess you made. And then, you're getting the biggest flea bath in the history of pest control. Max's tail started wagging again, causing a small avalanche in the back of the cave. And Max, Riley added, reaching up to pat his massive snout. Next time you want to go exploring, maybe pick a dimension that doesn't have quite so many trigger-happy aliens, okay? Some of us have reputations to maintain. The dog that had terrorized half the galaxy woofed softly and nuzzled against her hand with the gentle care of something that finally remembered it wasn't supposed to accidentally squish the nice human who gave it treats and belly rubs. Riley grinned and started walking toward the cave entrance. Come on, boy, let's go give those Galactic Council folks the biggest surprise of their lives. The emergency session of the Galactic Council was in full swing when Riley's transport ship requested landing permission. High Counselor Blorbius was in the middle of drafting evacuation protocols for the entire sector when the communication came through. Galactic Command, this is Pest Control 1 requesting permission to dock. Package delivered, problem solved, invoice attached. The silence in the council chamber was deafening. Commander Murphy, General Slitharn's voice cracked slightly over the comm. Please clarify. Are you saying the Bloodhound has been neutralized? Neutralized, relocated, and given a stern talking to about proper behavior in civilized space, Riley's voice came back, casual as ever. He's back where he belongs now, and I've set up some dimensional barriers to prevent future wandering incidents. Representative Zorbak's rocky exterior ground with confusion. Oh yeah, the Bloodhound's a he. Name's Max. He's actually a very good boy when he's not hopped up on cosmic radiation and interdimensional growth serum. Speaking of which, you folks might want to put some warning labels on your experimental energy sources. Dogs will eat literally anything. The transport ship docked, and Riley walked into the council chamber still wearing her pest control coveralls, now with the addition of some truly impressive alien cave dust. She looked around at the assembled representatives, all of whom were staring at her like she'd just announced that water was actually made of cheese. So, she said, settling into the chair that once again began its confused mechanical adjustments. Anybody want to explain why 27 of the galaxy's most advanced civilizations couldn't figure out they were dealing with a lost pet? High Counselor Blorbius pulsed weakly. Eh? Pet? Yep. Golden Retriever, Earth breed, about 8 years old in dog years. Got loose during a routine pest control job in the Andromeda sector. wandered through an unstable wormhole, and ended up here, where he apparently discovered that alien technology tastes like bacon. Riley shrugged. Happens more often than you'd think. Ambassador Quelnick's feathers were doing something that might have been the avian equivalent of a nervous breakdown. But, the destruction, the military tactics... Oh, that wasn't tactics, that was just really enthusiastic playing. Max thought your spaceships were the galaxy's biggest chew toys. And the roaring? He was trying to get your attention because he wanted to play fetch. Riley grinned. You should see what he does when he's actually trying to be intimidating. The council members exchanged glances that ranged from bewildered to mildly insulted. Commander Murphy, Representative Zorbak said carefully. Are you suggesting that our greatest military minds were outsmarted by a dog? Not outsmarted, Riley corrected. Outdogged. You were thinking like warriors fighting an enemy. Max was thinking like a puppy who wanted new friends to play with. Different operating systems entirely. She stood up and headed for the door, then paused. Oh, and just so we're clear for next time, if you're dealing with something that shows up, causes chaos, then disappears for a while before coming back to the same area, that's not military strategy. That's territorial behavior. Usually means it's either looking for food, looking for a mate, or looking for its pack. And in this case, High Counselor Blorbius asked weakly. Riley's grin got wider. In this case, it was looking for me. Max always was a mama's boy. As she walked away, her voice drifted back through the vast chamber. Invoices for 37 billion credits, by the way. Interdimensional retrieval ain't cheap, and neither is cosmic radiation detox therapy. Pete's already got the bill. The assembled representatives sat in stunned silence for a long moment. Finally, Ambassador Quelnick spoke in a voice barely above a whisper. Did we just pay 37 billion credits for someone to call their dog home? General Slitharn checked his datapad and nodded slowly. Apparently so, though given that our military expenditure for fighting the creature was approaching the trillion credit mark. He paused. This was actually quite cost-effective. High Counselor Blorbius pulsed thoughtfully. Perhaps we should consider adding Earth's Department of Pest Control to our standard response protocols. For what? Representative Zorbak asked. Everything, came the unanimous reply. Meanwhile, Riley Murphy was already halfway back to Earth, planning her next vacation and wondering if she should raise her rates. In the cargo hold of her ship, a certain interdimensional portal hummed quietly, securely locked and labeled with a sign that read, Authorized personnel only. This means you, Max. After all, some problems were best prevented rather than solved. But knowing Max, she'd probably be getting another call from Galactic Command within the month. Dogs, it turned out, were the same no matter what dimension they came from.